Individual and collective human experiences form the foundation for the complexity of human qualities and emotions. Collective and individual experiences refer to the events that happen to an individual or a shared group of people. These can be simple events such as school or work, or worldwide events such as war or terror. War, living conditions, and life events have the power to shape people depending on the type of situation one is in. They can have negative and positive impacts on people and the way that they control their qualities and emotions. These concepts are explored throughout George Orwell's novel 1984. The story shows the government controlling the proles' lives. Orwell shapes this with elements of narrative voice, providing details of his own fears for the future and implementing these throughout the story. 1984 shows the quality of life present when having every aspect controlled by an external force, and in this case it is Big Brother. Relating to the story, the song 50 in 5 by Hilltop Hoods and rapped by Suffer draws closely on the last 50 years and the events that has shaped the world today. Reference towards Orwell's 1984 is present during the song 50 in 5, and it provides examples of harsh human experiences over the last 50 years and makes note of the emotions connected with these experiences. When subjected to different conditions, the human brain can be altered, and under prolonged exposure to these experiences, one's qualities and emotions can be directly shaped by this experience. Throughout 1984, Orwell describes London, the city that the dystopian novel is set in, as an empty, bland, and grimy landscape. Were there always vistas of rotting 19th century houses, their sides shored up with balks of timber, their windows patched with cardboard, and their roofs with corrugated iron, their crazy sagging walls in all directions? This example of cumulative listing amplifies the negative elements of living in this world. This has a defining negative impact on the proles and makes the quality of life poorer under these living conditions. Due to these conditions, connections can be made that one's emotions and qualities will be unpredictable and unstable. This quote makes link to Bob Hawke's promise that there will be no children living in poverty by 1990. During this time, 580,000 children lived in poverty in Australia, and Hawke failed to live up to this promise. The connection has been made that in both texts that living conditions reflect upon one's qualities and emotions, and is an example of experience that many people will grow up in living in poverty. This highlights how living conditions people are subject to change their qualities and emotions. These living conditions are a collective human experience, and it has widespread effect on the emotions and qualities of the community that one lives in. The experiences that people face from a young age can affect them for the rest of their lives and destroy their emotions. War is a global situation with aspects affecting all corners of the earth, its impact reaching civilians and families around the world. Hilltop Hoods 50 in 5 displays images of the last 50 years that have affected humans the greatest.
For the second time we've been in before, from Vietnam to Saddam, we always needing the war on the earth.
This line is coupled with an image of a child soldier with a grey, bland shade, which is associated with sadness and loneliness. The image then cuts to a spray of blood riddled across the screen. This is symbolic of the blood shed during these wars and shows the experience that young adults and even children had to go through to fight for their country. This can also closely relate to numerous references of the parties and the means of control in the novel 1984. The primary aim of modern warfare, in accordance with the principles of doublethink, this aim is simultaneously recognized and not recognized by the directing brains of the inner party, is to use up the products of the machine without raising the general standard of living. This gives the viewers an insight on the controlling means and nature of Big Brother, and both examples make a link to war or terror. Assumptions from this point can be made that war will have a negative impact on humans' qualities and emotions when they are subject to this dangerous climate. This can be perceived as both individual and collective experience, but I personally believe it has a deeper impact on individuals and the way that they are living. Hate Week and the 2-minute hate occur in George Orwell's 1984. This period of time pushes more hatred towards outer members of the party, and furthermore pushes Big Brother's way of living. This has formed a major event throughout the city, especially in the weeks leading towards Hate Week. Hate Week channels the aggressions that build up in people because of their miserable lives and directs them towards an enemy that is not the state. The preparations also keep people busy around the clock, so their entire lives are focused on the state. This event imprisons all proles and forces them to participate in the hate. During the song 50 in 5, Suffer says the statement,
And children, they threw them both overboard, overwrought refugees thrown to a group home or jail for the crime, looking for a new home.
The rhyming sentence continues the rhythm of the song, driving its points into the viewers. The quote makes the reference to asylum seekers being moved to detention centres instead of being rehomed when they are in need. This is a key example of human experience that is taking place around the world. The events build aggression and negative thoughts on one's nature of beliefs, qualities, and emotional response to other events. Hate Week in 1984 and jailing people in need are the collective human experiences seen in both texts and have a negative impact on people. The text 1984 by George Orwell and 50 in 5 by Hilltop Hoods are key texts in describing human experience and displaying the impacts this can have on one's emotions and qualities. Both texts provide evidence for and the nature of both collective and individual human experiences. Both texts present predominantly negative impacts, and these experiences can have on one's emotions and qualities. Both Orwell and Hilltop Hoods display narrative voice, showing concerns that they have for the future within their texts. Collective and individual human experiences have the power to change one's emotions and qualities. Overall, these experiences will impact the way one lives their life and the effect that they have on others around them.